Hey everybody, it's Ron and Kyle, the two theater dads from Stage Door Theater Podcast, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas as we continue the holiday festive theme going on here. Today we're talking with Mark and Larry, two well-known actors in the Toledo community.
All right, so Ron just said that. Did you just say? What did you say?
My brush with Mark Owen. Is
Oh.
it Owen or Owens?
Owen. Unless there's two of us together,
Yes,
then we're Owens.
Mark Owens is.
Yeah.
So when Kathy you are together, it's the Owens.
Yes.
Owenses, or okay, Owens. Gotcha.
No S on my name.
Mark, you played Mal Beinecke in 3B productions of Addams Family, and I auditioned for the exact same show and the exact same part, and I was called back.
Hey.
But I couldn't do the show, so you
I got it.
So you got the part instead of
Well,
me. Yeah,
That's what he tells his kids, so he
That's what
saves face.
that's what I tell.
I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
so I politely bowed
I
out.
let Mark do it. Yeah, he was good.
And Larry's here as well. So we are here at the Village, and we're here to talk about this unique experience that I've never been to one of these. So what is it exactly, Larry?
Well, what this is, it's what's called a radio play. Now, if you were like me and around back in the 50s, you might have experienced these where on the radio, people sat around and listened to shows being done. That's what this is, except the people in our audience are the studio audience for the radio show.
They used to have a studio audience.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yeah. They used to have studio audiences for
it makes sense,
radio
yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
And some of those old like Burns and Allen shows and things like that are still on MeTV or whatever. You can see the people sometimes there in the audiences and stuff like that for their radio show.
So that's what the applause sign would light up. That was for them.
Exactly.
And I go back to the Annie movie where they're singing, "Hey, Dapper Dan, hey." Yeah, that's
That's a radio show?
Radio show, and there's an audience, and they have the sound effects and everything.
Gotcha. But this is not just, are you going to have, first of all, are you going to have one of those applause signs?
Absolutely.
Love it already. See, it's super unique to me. I have not been to the Village Theater very often. It's an amazing theater. Honestly, when I first came here, I didn't realize, like, damn, this is a nice theater. Yeah. It's kind of just hidden over here. It's only a 4-minute drive from my house. I live right over by the hospital, so it's. I don't know what I was thinking. I just don't know what I was thinking because it's nice. It's really nicer than I thought. When I walked in, I was like, "Whoa!"
It's a wonderful experience to see a show here.
And the seats here are cozy. The stage is beautiful.
The sound
is
great.
amazing. Have we pumped you up enough yet?
Yeah, keep going, guys. I love it.
So
doing great.
But it's true. I haven't said this a lot, but it's very nice.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people, believe it or not, that's a reaction that is not unique because people will go by and they say, "We didn't even know this was a theater."
That's it. That's exactly it. You drive by, it's very nondescript from the outside.
Right. Well, it used to be. It started life as a church and then became a theater about 50-some years ago. And since then, it's been a theater. It's undergone some changes, but the main the way that it looks now is pretty much the way that it always has looked. But it's a lot nicer than it was originally.
I kind of feel like Harry Potter when Harry walks into that tent in the one movie. He just walks in, and you're like, "Whoa! Look at the inside of this place." Instead of
right.
like, the outside is very like, "Yeah, we're here," and then you walk in, you're like, "Dude." I didn't expect to see this much when I walked in. So,
Right.
All right. Who wants to start talking about this show, though? Because that's why we're here.
Well, let Mark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, it's a Wonderful Life one day, and then the next day is A Christmas Carol, and then we just repeat that throughout the course of the 2 weekends. And which one are we starting with?
I think It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Mm-hmm. And yes, it is done in the style of a 1940s radio broadcast. So we have Matt Colbreth, who is going to be our sound effects guy. So he has a bunch of buttons and...
Matt Colbreth works in actual radio, so
yes.
I know this guy.
That's right. That's right. So he'll be doing the sound effects for both shows, and it's a load of fun. And there's a ton of sound effects, and they just add that little bit of
Yeah.
And what's the official name for that? Folio?
Foley, I think.
Foley stage.
Foley stage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the audience gets to
I'm
watch.
gonna have to have a conversation with Matt. He just is keeping this on the down low. He
Well,
didn't
he should
even
be
announce.
here any minute. He should be here. So yes, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actors.
Okay.
Playing all the parts.
Yes,
In both
and
shows, 5 or
in both shows,
Okay.
5. Now the way they have it set up is, for It's a Wonderful Life, I will be playing George Bailey and just George Bailey, and for A Christmas Carol, Larry will be Ebenezer Scrooge and just Ebenezer Scrooge. Now the other 4 people will be everybody else.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. And that's probably to help the audience not be confused.
And
I
you'll
assume, right?
stand in front of an old-fashioned mic. Is that kind of the idea?
Yes.
In costume?
Dave, no. Well, yes.
50
yes,
50s
they're all
Yes.
costumes. Yes.
Yes.
They are, they're the costumes of somebody who would be doing a 1940s radio show. And there will be the occasional hat to help you distinguish between this character and that character. Just,
Gotcha. So when Bob Cratchit comes in, they'll know it's Bob Cratchit.
It sounds
Who's
right.
playing Tiny Tim? That's the one. Larry, you playing Tiny Tim?
no.
Oh, no, I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm-
You're only Scrooge.
I'm Scrooge. Only Scrooge. Bill Pearson is playing Tiny Tim.
yes.
Okay, that's great.
And to me, it's hysterical.
It
to
is
see
because
him do that.
Bill's he's like 12, right? I mean, that's why it's
yeah.
great.
112.
Bill just finished up, I believe it was here, the Sunshine Boys
Right.
with Larry.
That's correct.
So he went from playing, a much older man than himself.
Right, right, of
to,
course.
Tiny Tim, along with
I
he's
love
also
it.
playing Clarence the Angel and a number of different characters.
Just a little side thing. Kyle has never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
I have not. I'm an embarrassment to mankind.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, there are a couple things I have not seen, and I don't know why I've never seen that movie.
There's always got to be that one person, right?
That
And you're
one,
that one
I
person.
am apparently.
It
Yeah.
is basically the same story as A Christmas Carol. If you
Oh,
ask
is it
me.
really?
Well,
There's
I think,
ghosts, spirits, and all that kind of stuff.
yes, there is divine intervention in both plays. One man, Ebenezer Scrooge, gets to see what his life is with him in it.
Right.
And it's disgusting and hurtful, and he's a miser with his wealth, and that causes hardship for lots of people. And when tragedy befalls Scrooge, people kind of like that.
And I've seen about 8 different versions of Christmas Carol, but
Right.
haven't bothered to see one version of A Wonderful Life.
Now, with It's a Wonderful Life, it is the same thing. And both main characters deal with, there's Scrooge and Marley's, I believe, they're money lenders. I believe that's what they are.
Yeah, they're like a bank before there's banks.
Right,
basically.
Yes, and George Bailey's occupation is he works for the Bailey Building and Loan. So there's a money theme, and gosh, not to be too bizarre, but there it is, and that must mean something there, like that the happiness or some stretch of the imagination here. We're dealing with happiness and finances, and do those things go together? But you have Scrooge, who hoards it like a miser and is miserable. And George, who is salt of the earth, family man, puts his life plans on hold by circumstances to run the family business. And George gets to see what life is like without his existence.
And it's terrible, right?
And it's
We're going to
terrible.
ruin it for everybody. Everybody,
no.
meaning me. I'm the only person on the planet, I'm sure, that hasn't seen the show.
Well, he gets a chance to see what life would be like if he was never born,
Right.
and what happens to the various people that are currently in his life. And of course, his kids don't exist,
Of course.
and other things happen to his wife, and his father,
his name is George. This is, and did they steal Back to the Future from this? Since his name is George, and if he goes back in time, if he goes back in time and he screws it up and doesn't kiss her,
he's being transported. He's flying back to the. I don't.
He
know.
doesn't, but he doesn't kiss her at the dance, and his kids are never born. It sounds awful familiar, man. Sheesh, these stories just rip each other off, don't they?
How about that?
But go ahead. Sorry.
So no, there are some parallel elements in both stories. Divine intervention, money is the tool that is sort of we're using as a gauge for something. Happiness? I don't know. But, of course, Scrooge has all the money in the world, and he's certainly not happy.
Right.
The poor people around him are loving and friendly, and the Cratchits obviously have very little money, and they're a loving family unit and celebrating their tiny little Christmas dinner. But Scrooge doesn't even spend his money. He's a miser, so he's just hoarding it.
Yeah, what's the point, right? He makes all this money and then doesn't enjoy it. It's so weird.
Right.
Yeah.
And I believe that in A Christmas Carol, I think that Scrooge is blamed for the death of his mother. You never see this on the stage, but in the book, Scrooge's mother dies during childbirth.
Oh, geez. I did
His
not know that.
father blamed him for that.
That's a bit of dark history I never even knew about.
Yes. And Scrooge does the same thing. His sister dies giving birth to his nephew, so he resents his nephew.
Oh, my gosh. I got to pay attention more. Again, the 9 different versions I've seen, I don't recall any of this happening, so...
And I'm not even sure how much they go into
right,
it.
Yeah,
there,
Fan died giving birth to... Wow, did not know that.
So this...
that wasn't in the Disney version at all.
No.
This radio show is not, you're just not bored sitting there listening. This is very visual, and watching it is probably very entertaining and fun. And is it funny? Will people laugh?
Oh, yeah, there'll be moments where people laugh. There are funny things, especially when people do voices. There are several times where people are talking to themselves with different characters. Back and forth.
Just taking the hat on and off.
And so, yes.
So Bill's going to 1 minute be
Tiny Tim
talking to Bob, and he has to be both people probably.
That's correct.
Oh, my gosh, I love it.
Absolutely. And then the same thing happens in It's a Wonderful Life, too. There are characters that talk to the same person doing the character talking back and forth to themselves.
And then do you get to hold scripts in your hand?
Yes.
Like the radio shows would?
Yes.
And then, is that cheating, or are they just props? Are you really reading?
Oh, God, it's cheating for sure. Absolutely. Now, at the end, Dave Nelms, God love him, he's not here, is he? Dave Nelms asked us to memorize, thought we were going to get out of it, but he's asked us to memorize a portion of the ending so we can just hopefully pour our hearts into it and not have the piece of paper in our hand.
Director is Dave Nelms, is the director.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I find it very fascinating. So to be sitting in the crowd, obviously, and to watch you guys do this crazy back and forth thing, that's what the show is.
Yeah.
The show is this back and forth character. 1 minute a guy's all serious, the next minute he has to play like a little girl or something. That's crazy.
It does. It is fast moving in that regard, because in It's a Wonderful Life, probably the other characters, the other 3 of us that are doing all the characters, because Mark and Laura Crawford do the 2 main characters, George and Mary. We all play about 9 or 10 different characters throughout the show.
And again, who are the names of the other people in the cast?
Well, you have myself, Larry Farley, Mark Owen, Laura Crawford,
Which
Bill
I know her
Pearson,
as well. Bill.
And Lydia Schaefer.
Lydia Schaefer. And
there's
then
some big names in
plus,
this show. Those
plus
are the
the
5.
sound guy.
Matt
Matt
Colbert.
Matt
and then
Colbert.
Matt. Yeah. And then Dave just hides in the back and doesn't have to
Right,
actually
Dave
be on
is not
stage.
in the show,
No.
but he is an essential part of the show, because he'll probably be running a lot of the tech stuff too.
And he gives us so much freedom.
Oh, that's good.
So I
Well,
love
look who
that.
he has in the cast, though, too. He's
Yeah,
a cheater.
ringers.
Come
Yeah.
on. What the? bringing in these very experienced performers, and then just going,
He
here,
is
just
cheating.
do it.
He doesn't have to do anything. So when you're holding the scripts, do you throw it when
That's
you're
what I was
done?
going to ask that too.
When you're done
Or
reading
No,
it?
no, we don't. Yeah, they're stapled together.
Oh.
And gosh, I don't know, when did staples come out? Did they staple
In
the
the
strips
50s?
together back
In the
then?
50s?
Did they? I have no idea. So maybe there weren't staples, so we're cheating. But he said, I first had my script all highlighted. He said, no, said Dave. Highlighters weren't around back then, so.
Wow,
to do that
continuity.
over, right?
Good for him, though.
yeah.
Somebody might spot that from the crowd and be like, this show,
Shit,
bunch of rookies.
Now the sound effects. What kind of sound effects are we going to hear?
Everything from train whistles to footsteps,
Car
to
doors.
Footsteps
car
even?
doors. Yes, footsteps.
Telephone.
Telephones.
I saw
obviously.
chains hanging.
Yeah, Marley's Ghost.
Marley's
you know,
Ghost.
You've got chains.
Lots of page turning sounds, probably.
Absolutely.
Oh, by accident, though. Not necessarily.
Well, hopefully not too many of those.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about footsteps.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Why would you need
Different
footsteps?
kinds of footsteps too.
Oh.
Not the same. Not just the same. Women's footsteps.
Little dainty
women's
footsteps.
footsteps in high heels.
Stomping through
people's-
snow?
On the snow.
Oh.
Yes. You've got somebody breaking through the ice and
It's a wonderful.
almost drowning, and so you hear that. As
So
well.
Matt's going to be breaking a sweat by halfway through the show.
Well, there's a
Very
lot to
busy.
do. There's a lot to do.
I bet.
He's always doing something. Wind, thunder.
And it's just like it was when they did the radio broadcast. So no cheating. Matt can't just push a button on a keyboard and it
correct.
just makes a sound.
That's
No.
correct.
He has to actually shake this thing when there's thunder type
Absolutely.
thing. I'm coming.
Very
I'm coming.
very interesting sound for Ghost of Christmas Future.
Mm.
Because, on stage, when you see it on stage, there is a physical representation of the Ghost of Christmas
Yeah.
Future. A menacing presence. It's sort of the Grim Reaper with one outstretched bony hand. Well, how do you do that?
That's a good question.
So there's a very interesting sound that they're using to.
Yeah, he never speaks, and it's usually just like an orchestra sound. It just does like a.
But we have to come and see it to know what it is. He's not going to
Right.
tell
We're
us.
not giving that
No.
away.
That's right.
No,
That's a secret.
definitely don't give stuff. I'm going to come just to see Matt Galbraith buckets of sweat rolling down him as he's trying to do all of these sound effects for all these shows.
And not only does he do the sound effects, but he's also in a couple of the commercials.
Oh,
there's even
there's
commercials.
commercials?
There are
Yes.
commercials in the show too,
Oh, nice. Don't forget to drink your
and
Ovaltine.
jingles.
Yeah, Ovaltine.
and jingles
And
in
jingles?
in the commercials. Absolutely.
Iodent toothpaste. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And are these? I'm not sure if these are real products.
Yes, they are.
They
Lux
are real
toilet
pro-
soap.
Lux toilet.
Lux, yes.
Yeah,
I
and
actually heard of
Kreml hair tonic. Both were products back
No
in
kidding.
the 40s.
Okay.
And Lux toilet soap, I think, is still somewhere.
I've heard
I
of
think
it, so it's gotta be.
It's still around, I think.
The soap of 1,000 uses.
Yeah, that's it.
Keep
As-
it in your car.
That's right, as Freddie says.
Now
Well-
you two have worked together before. I think it
Yes.
seems like there's
Several
a little
times.
something. Several
several
times.
times. Yes.
More than once. 100 times, I imagine.
No, not that many, but sometimes it seems like it.
So there's great chemistry on stage, obviously. I know that Mark has worked with Lydia for years over doing Christmas Carol. So you're just shifting gears from one theater to another theater, but doing the same
Right.
thing kind of, though, too. It's
Right.
telling the same story, I should say.
Well, and
Not the same thing.
Gosh, I just love both of these stories.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the two stories for the Christmas season that I just have to see. I have to see them,
As I throw my hands up.
and maybe this will be part of a Christmas tradition for you. If you have to see, Charlie Brown's Christmas. No. Okay. Well,
But you know what? I like the idea of coming to see my first one live.
Yeah. Different.
Because I'm much more of a live theater guy.
Sure.
To watch that and to see, and again, I get a kick out of seeing people I know up there performing. Yeah. I'm always super impressed. I don't know why I'm still impressed. I just am. When I see you guys up there doing stuff like you and Lydia, I'm like, look at them. I should be used to it by now, but I'm
that's
not.
very kind.
And
Well,
Thank
Larry,
you.
I saw you in the cabaret for
last
the
week.
first time. And that's the first time I've seen you perform, and I was like, this guy, he's like the glue holding the show together here.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be, this boring intermission between things. Nah, you nailed it, man.
Yeah, made us laugh in the cast, and we saw it.
Ron was okay in the show.
Yeah.
Ryan was good. He did my favorite song.
Oh, see, he's
That's
trying
my
to,
favorite song.
He can't even let me razz you a little bit. He stepped in and saved you.
So, do you do George Bailey as Jimmy Stewart or as Mark Owen?
Well, that's an excellent
question.
question because I have seen the movie, I couldn't tell you how many times, dozens of times. And yes, I know. You gotta,
I know. Everybody's really giving me the eyeballs when you say, I've seen it so much. I'm like, I'm sorry.
So I think Jimmy Stewart should do Jimmy Stewart,
There you go.
and I don't want to be Mark Owen doing Jimmy Stewart playing George Bailey. I think that would, first of all, I couldn't do it, because he's got his own unique personality. And so that's what I'm going to try and do here as well, is be myself as an actor playing this particular character. But, some of the dialogue, I wind up sounding an awful lot like Jimmy Stewart without meaning to, because I've heard it a million times.
But if you started off being Jimmy Stewart, then 30 minutes into the show, you'd forget you're being Jimmy Stewart
Right.
and back out again and back out again. It's like,
Yeah, let's not go.
Yeah. You're trying to have a Spanish accent. Next thing you know, you're sounding like Count Chocula.
That was that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing at anybody.
Yes,
I'm just saying. I just want to say that I am going to come see the show because I want to come see It's a Wonderful Life because I've never seen it, but I want to see it the right way. And I think you guys are going to do it the right way. I'm going to get a kick out of the banging of the drums and the rolling of the thunder or whatever the heck's going. Oh, they started the music in the background.
Yeah, I hear it.
Sure who's
Do we need to tell
Camptown Radio.
the audience the show dates or?
Nah, I'll put it all up and we'll get it all. But they'll know. We'll keep posting. We'll get this up. So, but thank you. Thank you for allowing us to come in here and harass you guys right before you're about ready to actually start your rehearsal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.